now have a fascinating panel coming up on the interesting topic of hospitality families, and we have a very well-chosen group of people making their way to the stage now. I'll let the moderator introduce them. This panel will be led by Natalie Oldfield. She's the president of Success Through Trust and has been voted one of Canada's most inspiring women entrepreneurs. Please welcome Natalie and her panel.
Thank you. So I thought we would do something different since it's 5 o'clock, and most of you have been here all day, and we don't know who you are. So could all of you who are hotel owners, property managers, operators, hoteliers, please stand up.
We better stand up.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up as well. Yes.
Okay. So the technology companies that support all of you, could you stand up? Definitely sit down.
Oh, I think we should.
Okay. How about the suppliers that aren't in technology? Can you stand up? Oh, you got to keep standing. All these people sat back down. Sponsors, can you stand up? So who don't we have? We have a few people who aren't standing.
Lazy.
Lazy. Okay, one last question. Raise your hand if you're thinking, why trust? Like, what is this going to be about? And family businesses. The number one question we all have, and I know you have it in your inside voice, is, do I trust them? What are they going to talk about? I know you're thinking, why trust? So raise your hand if you're wondering why trust this afternoon. Thank you. I can see in the back. We have a few people with their hands raised. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can sit down if you like, or you keep standing. It's up to you. It's all about trust. In fact, does anyone in here do the New York Times Wordle in the morning? Today's word is trust. I can't believe it.
Look at A1.
Here's why it's trust. It's the foundation for customer experience. It's the one thing that's going to move the needle, not only for your guests, but for your employees, for all of your stakeholders. Trust drives loyalty, which we've been talking about all day long. It drives revenue. It drives engagement. And it drives innovation. So here's some of the facts. 80% of people worldwide buy from companies they trust. 80% of people worldwide stay in hotels that they trust. 54% of us worldwide pay more for products and services when we trust. This is living proof. 68% of people recommend products and services when they trust. And we heard from some very interesting presenters today. Anna shared with us that 22% people pay 22% more when they're loyal. We heard from Matthew at Agilysys. 27% of UK travelers only booked a hotel last year once. That's a lot of people who didn't go back. And 62% said they're more likely to rebook at a venue that delivers tailored experiences. My name is Natalie Doyle Oldfield, and as our MC shared, I am from Canada. I've also written a book called The Power of Trust: How Top Companies Build, Manage, and Protect It. And I have the honor and privilege to be with William Gibbs, who is running a family-owned hotel. He's the hotel director of the Sir Richard Sutton Limited, and he's also the winner of the HOSPA International Leader Award for Asset Project Management. And he's a new board member of HOSPA as well. Welcome.
Thank you.
we have Varian Palmer, who's a family director and owner of the Headland Cornwall. And she was recently named Independent Hotel of the, her hotel was named Independent Hotel of the Year Award. Welcome. And we have Jonathan Reggett, who is also with a family-owned business, CEO of Red Carnation Hotels. He was also recently recognized at the Independent Hotel Show for his outstanding contribution to the hospitality sector and to the next generation of hospitality professionals. And we've talked a lot about the next generation. So I have lots of questions for these folks, and I was thinking, oh, I hope I have enough questions to fill up 30 minutes. But in our 10 minutes of waiting to get on stage, I know that we could talk for an hour. So, we'll get started. But before we do that, do you want to add anything else to your introductions? Do you want to share with us how you got into hospitality, maybe?
I think it's looking at the excitement of the industry, I mean, and seeing the great people that have led great hotel businesses. And for me, going to Shannon Hotel School, looking at the experiences that were driven by the Dorchester, the great hotels, and just laying out that that was a career that I aspired to.
Nice. Thank you.
My start wasn't quite as glamorous. I used to dress as Barney, the purple dinosaur, or as a mermaid for children's entertainments at my parents' hotel when I was 13. Not as glam, definitely not as glam.
More fun, though.
But a lot of fun, and yeah, I was pretty set on what I wanted to do from a very young age.
Nice.
I was never a mermaid or a dinosaur, but I will never be a dinosaur.
You'd make a great mermaid.
I would just say that obviously we're all like-minded in this room, but hospitality perhaps isn't for everybody, but if it is an industry that will give people so many opportunities, and if you work hard and you develop yourself, you will get to the position you want to get to within hospitality. You can travel, and I believe it's a business where you never have Monday morning blues.
Okay, very nice. Well, how lucky are we? We have these leaders, and I would say some of the UK's most trusted hospitality leaders. My business is all about building the most trusted companies. So this truly is an honor and a privilege to get to ask you questions about how you did this. So I would like to start with you, Verilyn, because when we had a chat, I asked, how do you stay so passionate? We talked for a little while, and she's so passionate, and as she shared, she started from a very young age. And she shared with me that it's about setting the standard. So the most trusted leaders in the world set standards and have values. So can you expand on that, how you do that? How do you set the standard?
I think I've been lucky enough to work with some amazing hoteliers through my career. In particular, Sue Williams, who has been very widely recognised as she enters her final week as general manager at Whatley Manor. One of her absolute mantras is the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. Mm-hmm. And this is something that my team can probably recite relentlessly back to me. And this idea that if you don't make a difference, if you don't just pick up that glass or pick up that bit of litter, then that is the standard you accept. And we can all get very passionate about all the exciting things. And in a room full of hoteliers, everyone tends to get very excited about a lot of things a lot of the time. But when it boils down to it, in terms of keeping guests wanting to come back for more, for everyone knowing that we're all in it doing for the same reason, it's about those tiny details. And do make sure that curtain's drawn back correctly. Make sure that the scatter cushions are karate chopped. on the sofas. It's important. It's about those tiny little details. And if you can help your team to understand why that is, they
Yes.
start to become passionate about the same things that you do, and they understand why you're passionate about it.
Nice. How about you, William? Can you tell us about values? Because not only is it the leaders setting the standard, it's also having values.
Absolutely. In our journey, I mean, I've been working with SRSL, Sir Richard Sutton, for 5 years, and I joined them, and it was really setting up an asset management function, which was operations is my background, but I spent a number of years in asset management. And I quite quickly identified that there wasn't really an alignment between the values that SRSL as a family had and the operators that we were working with. And that kind of drove us to do an evaluation in terms of, did it make sense to really look at these businesses and actually look at, could we bring them in-house and operate them ourselves and actually create a greater alignment between how these businesses were being run, the values that were being put in the business, and actually align them with the family values of care, community, and discreet. And actually, we went through the process and launched Sutton Hotel Collection on the 1st of April, 2022. And so went through that whole process of how do we roll out the values within the business and create the Sutton Way, do a whole training program, and really start from scratch, because the 3 hotels were being managed by a core, a different set of values, an international, highly acclaimed operator, but actually very different from the personal experiences that we wanted to create within those hotels that replicated the family values. So it was quite a journey that we went on, but it did mean that we had to build trust with our teams. We had to go out, we had to do roadshows with them, we had to explain with them why we were doing this, and actually it was about delivering excellence to our guests and building that trust within them.
Nice. How about you, Jonathan? You also shared with me that values are very important with your group.
Yeah, I think, just adding to what's already been said, it's about your people. It's about your team trusting you. They haven't been planted here, but there's Simon, Anne, and Eddie who are in this room. The 3 of them have worked with me and Reincarnation for more than 50 years. Not each, 3 of them combined, just... and it's about all understanding, going the same way, having robust conversation, not always agreeing initially on points. I think that's very healthy for a business. But then getting to the goal that you want to get to and understanding that what you do has consistency.
Yes.
And from a personal point of view, I think growing up in this business and understanding each and every job within a hotel is hugely important.
Yes.
We as managers eat in our restaurants and we just stay over in our hotels, and that's part of the job. But I think understanding just how hard it is to clean bedrooms each day, just how hard it is to work in the kitchen, and all the jobs that are associated makes you a better manager for knowing it and appreciating it.
Absolutely. I also want to point out that you used a very important word in building trust, and that's consistency. That is so extremely important to build trust, is being consistent. I want to go back, William, to your values, because when you shared those with us, you also mentioned to me that you do training around the Sutton Way. So can you share with us what that is?
So when we were launching Sutton Hotel Collection, we built a whole training program, which it was around guest delivery, so delivering excellence to our guests in terms of experience. It was about team members and actually how we wanted to treat our team members and build trust with them. And we talked about, Harry mentioned it earlier in terms of looking after and treating our team members, talking about nutrition, talking about wellness, talking about how they're encouraging sport. So we did a bit of teamwork between the hotels. We cycled between the hotels. We looked at nutrition and what was being offered on the menus. And we built this as a program. We did service level training. We did cultures training first. We did service level training. So what the Sutton way in terms of delivery of experience to the guests, and then we did how people treated each other within the hotels, the team members, and we rolled that out over. It was a monthly program that we rolled out. Well, actually, sorry. Initially, we rolled out monthly on the first level, which was the culture and the values, and then we rolled it out on a quarterly basis after that. And we continue to keep refreshing it as new team members come in. So it's part of our induction process.
Nice, nice. Jonathan, you also mentioned that you invest in your team and do a lot of training, and you shared that, professional development's very important to your organization.
So I think it's huge. I think any successful company needs to spend the money and invest in individuals and not pay lip service to it, but make it actually happen. And one thing I'm very proud of within Red Carnation, and it works very well, is that we have every quarter, every 12 weeks, we have a one-to-one. So a manager needs to have a one-to-one with their direct reports. So it is minuted, and it's finding out what they want within their job and what career development they want. Now, clearly, the person has to be doing the job before we start developing them for other courses. But I think understanding what people, it's not just a job. I mean, you have to pay a fair salary. I mean, that's taken for Ed. But then what's important, and it's really, I believe, caring about that individual and how you can make that person as good as they want to be. And I love this business because you actually don't need top degrees. We're not doing open heart surgery or anything like that. We need people that are kind. We need people that care. And obviously, we need people with a good work ethic.
Yeah.
So I think, again, understanding that training and development, we have at Red Carnation Hotels, and we're a small collection, but we have 85 plus minus courses within our company every year, and we change those up. I would say maybe 15 of those are mandatory, so they're part of what we are as a company. But all these other courses are there to give people an opportunity that if you're in the operations and you want to go into the accounting world, then we're going to invest and actually put you there to make you that accountant. If you want to be a marketeer, same thing. And if you look at our company right now, people have started in this position and today are in that position.
Nice, nice. So we have a lot of finance people in the room. So what's the return on investment?
Well, I think many accountants, looking to my left, so the section in Red Carnation, could put, I think it's difficult to say there is a number. I have read, and I don't want to be questioned on this because we haven't got enough time, but it can cost up to £10,000 to employ an individual within a business. And that's made up of many things. But I think if you take front office within a hotel, I believe it takes about 6 months, on average, for that front office person to be up to speed, to understand where your rooms are, to understand your upselling, to understand everything that's going on. It probably takes around that. And obviously, the training that's invested, the uniforms, the buddy systems we start with. So, is it worth it? Well, I don't know what people's turnover is in hotels. Ours is sitting at about 35%, which I think is lower than industry norm. But 35% is still high. And if it is £10,000 a person, then to answer your question, it's definitely worthwhile.
So actually, just to add, we did some of the maths on this, and the asset management element came out of me. But we worked out that reducing our turnover, staff turnover, when we came out of the pandemic, we were looking at 65% plus in terms of staff turnover.
Wow.
And we worked out if we reduced it to 30%, which we've achieved in the hotels, quite remarkably, and a little bit lower in one of our hotels, but we'd actually save close to 850,000.
Wow.
Which is what we've seen.
Wow.
And a staggering number.
Yeah.
And that is, but it has cost us, You know, as Jonathan is saying, you've got to invest. We have to
Yeah.
invest in our people as an industry. We've got to, we had to give the right staff meals. We've got to give an induction program that is meaningful, you know,
Yes.
and makes the team feel welcome.
And I think
Of
as
course.
importantly, Natalie, to add to that is all of our hotels, we spoke before, have many regular guests coming back.
Yes.
And it is so important to a guest to be recognised. Now, we might recognise them because we've got a decent PMS system and we can say welcome back, but there's nothing like having that same face that is there with that big smile. So again, can you put a price on that? I don't know. But the fact is, a person feels great to come back, to see the same people and to get that recognition.
Yeah. So let's talk about loyalty. So we've had a number of speakers today bring up the word loyalty. And I'm of the belief that trust is at the foundation of loyalty. You can't have loyalty if you don't have trust. And it's at the foundation of customer experience. And we heard from a few folks that have systems and shared some really great ideas around how to build loyalty. So I'd love to hear from you, and maybe we could start with you, Viren, about loyalty and what that means to you and how you do that in your properties.
I think there's loyalty from guests. There's also loyalty from staff,
Yes.
our team. On Tuesday this week, we had our long service awards dinner at the Headland. It's the hottest ticket event
Nice.
from by the team, more than the Christmas party. And with 250 staff aged 14 to 86 from 19 different countries. We had on Tuesday 34 people with more than 5 years service.
Wow.
The longest service was 44 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
And our new cohort that came through, so our newbies with 5 years service, one of them is 21. He joined us age 16.
Okay.
And next year, we've got another 7 young people who are coming through, who are in their early 20s into that. But the loyalty is built up, and the chatter around the table and the absolute love for the Headland was so apparent.
Nice.
From all of these people coming up with, trying to outdo each other with stories, like hoteliers too. But it was an amazing evening to be part of. And then when you flip that then over to our guests, so about 42% of our business is return guests.
Wow.
And of course, those return guests are looking to see that all those team members who've been there for so long, and for some of them who've only maybe been with us a couple of years, and they're looking for that recognition, as Jonathan was saying. And it's because they come back, they know that when they want that room that they got engaged in, or they've got that experience and we know what it is, and they trust us that when we say, oh, I'm so sorry, your favourite cottage isn't available, but I've got another one I think you're going to like, and they still book and come back because they trust us that we will be able to look after them and what they're looking for.
Nice. So I just want to give you one little tip. The neuroscience proves that when we celebrate our employees like you do, publicly, and we have peer-to-peer celebration, that is the #1 way to build trust with your employees. So I'm not surprised that your longest standing employee is 44 years. That's quite something. And it all starts inside a company, building trust with customers, with guests. It starts with our teams. So on the guest side, with the customer side, Jonathan, you mentioned to me about TNT, which my daughter goes to university, and she lived in a residence called TNT, so I totally remember that, but I know it's not TNT like the Tiger House that she talks about. Can you tell us about TNT at Red Carnation?
Yeah, so TNTs for us is an acronym for Tiny Noticeable Touches.
Okay.
And we spend a lot of time making sure that clearly each guest wants what they want. And we never just, they're not a commodity. We're not just putting people into bedrooms. It's how we can make their stay an exceptional one. So for a new guest coming through, we might do a bit of Googling, a bit of social media as you do. And if we see there's something there, like they like golf, let's say, then we would ensure that we'd put a golfing magazine into their room. Nothing too difficult about it, but we've taken the time to see perhaps what they would like, and we put that, and remarkable, how that, and it gets them thinking. And then, of course, you build on that. We ensure that each and every day we build their profiles up, and we have a lot of repeat guests as well. And the idea is that we're making them feel the most important person in the hotel and really caring about it. And I believe that is the way you get loyalty. That is the way you get trust.
Yes.
And you do it consistently with your people. And I'm going to be a little bit critical of loyalty points. I know the big companies have got them, but from what I hear, they're a nightmare to run, an absolute nightmare to run. And to me, that's not really loyalty. People are going because they've got the points and they've saved a few pounds. But to me, loyalty is about understanding your guest. And you know, we have quite a lot of individual business people coming to our hotels. If they bring their partner, perhaps on a weekend or whatever it may be, let's upgrade. Let's put them into a suite. Let's recognise the fact that from the double room they've had, they're bringing their significant other half and upgrade them. That, to me, is about loyalty. That's about caring about the particular guest.
Caring builds trust. So, William, you and I talked about caring quite a bit, actually, when we talked about the Sutton values. And you told me a story about food bundles and your team that really resonated with me. And I've actually told dozens of people about that since. So would you share that with everyone here?
Yeah, I was going to work, and I one morning, and I heard that either Tesco or Sainsbury's were basically doing a £5 meal. And I was thinking, right, times are hard. What can we do for our team members?
Yeah.
And I got the guys thinking, and we basically came up with a food bundle. So we'd contact our suppliers, and we'd get them to whatever they were discarding or whatever they did, you know, wonky sort of, that we would basically create a food bundle for each of the team members. And we did that. We did it on a quarterly basis, and we rolled it out. And we did, you know, we did a particular type of meal. So we made it as a meal that they could have with their family in the evening. And we did it, you know, and it was a huge success across team members. Team members coming up, thanking me for it. Some of them actually wanting to cook it and share it, who were like singles, wanted to share it amongst, and it started creating almost, you know, that community piece, which is so important.
Yeah.
And a huge success. And actually, it just, you know, some of the roles, they're not the highest paid roles, but actually they're some of the most valuable roles that we have in the hotel. And for me, that's so important that we look after those people.
Yeah.
And you know, we're still going through difficult times. We're doing it not quarterly, we're doing it half yearly at the moment. But we did it on the coronation. So we did a special coronation. So we've done it on a couple of special events that have happened over the last couple of years as well.
Farron, you do a lot in the community as well. And when we spoke, you had just launched a new program.
Yeah.
With your community. Can you tell us about that?
So when I moved down from being up country, north of the Tamar, sort of Devon upwards, down back to Cornwall, it became very apparent that Cornish hospitality businesses did not talk to each other at all. And it was quite unusual because when I worked at the Goring, wherever I worked before, you'd go off and see local hotels and go for competitor visits. But in Cornwall, absolutely not. And decided to create the Cornish Hospitality Collective, the Cornwall Hospitality Collective. Had some amazing advice from Adrian Ellis from the Manchester Hoteliers Association, and partner with Truro and Penrith College. And we now have it was launched, Kate Nichols spoke at it about on the 19th of October, and we've now got nearly 200 Cornish hospitality businesses signed up, paying a membership from £20 up to £2,000 a year, to come together to raise the aspiration levels of Cornish hospitality businesses and individuals working in that. Part of it is that you will sign our hospitality charter, that is taken from the Good Hoteliers Charter, you will adopt 3 local schools.
Nice.
We've got primary, secondary, colleges. If you are and alternative education, if you are in Cornwall, you will be adopted by a hospitality business. So if you want someone to come in and talk about the hospitality profession to your students, to your 5-year-olds, to the parents, we'll be there with people who've trained, who've had training from, if they're a chef, from the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts. If they're not a chef, then from either me or one of my colleagues, with a slide deck, with activities. We are absolutely determined to change the impression of hospitality in Cornwall to young people. Wow. And it's working. We've had success with our young person placement scheme that I spoke about on stage 2 years ago. All of my 12 apprenticeship places this September were filled with 14 and 15-year-olds, well, now 16, who had just completed already 1 or 2 summers working with us.
Nice.
So instead of the standard, I'm going to say, new apprentice going, oh, college and work, these guys are like, yeah, this is easy. Try doing 260 for breakfast. And it's been amazing in terms of building within our community in Cornwall. We're not very big. A sense of trust in that the hospitality industry will look after your child.
Yeah.
That we will be good employers.
Yeah.
That we are going to follow the rules, follow the law. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a long road ahead, but it's exciting.
Nice.
And hopefully we will have, or not hopefully, we will have, within 18 months, 2 years, Cornish hospitality businesses with far more developed training programs, far more developed, getting leaders together, getting our HR teams together to try and knit everyone together to improve the industry and the perception of the industry.
Nice.
I think that's absolutely fundamental. I think it's something that, you know, the industry, you know, it was an industry where people went into. There was so much opportunity. You know, there still is so much opportunity within it. But actually looking after, and I think, Philip, you've hit the nail on the head. You know, would you want your children going into the hospitality industry? You know, and I went to Shannon, and I look back on my year, and there's only about 10 of us out of 50 that are in the business.
Wow.
You know, that's not how it should be. You know, we should be coming out going, right, you know, you work hard, as Jonathan said, you can do so much in this industry and has so much opportunity, but we need to create an industry where parents want their kids to go into it. You know, they want to basically go into this industry to take advantage of those opportunities. And so trust is such a fundamental part of it.
It's all about trust. So, Jonathan, you shared with me a quote. You said something that I would like to read to everybody here in closing. There are no staff shortages. If you are willing to train, to pay for extra time, for learning and professional development, and empower your team, there are no staff shortages. It's a wonderful industry.
No, I stand by that. Absolutely. We have we are not recruiting right now. We are fully staffed, have been now for many months. And I always say talent goes where talent wants. And I think a lot of the stories you've heard about what we do is why a family business can be successful, because I believe we do care more.
Yeah.
We really look after our teams. We're small enough to do so. And if you get that right, people stay with you. They work hard and they create that magic that a hotel needs.
There's a reason why family businesses are more trusted than any other type of business in the world. That's a fact. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. We could ask you questions all afternoon, but I have this table looking at me, and thank you very much.